Hey everybody, I'm Isaac.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Zach.
And we're Hanson.
You are listening to Yale Radio.
I think I was talking with Naima earlier today, and she had a question about, so we hear that now you guys are all happily married.
So how do you think that that's changed the way that you make music and interact with brothers, as if it has?
Well, I mean, those relationships obviously change your life. And
congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. I guess for the most part, they're just added inspiration. You know, obviously everybody struggles with anything, and relationships are not peachy. You know, there are struggles, and staying together as a band it's been 15 years.
The best marriage counseling we could have ever had is having to survive being in a band for this long.
Exactly.
Right.
When you get married, I told my wife, I said to her, you realize that you're my second wife, right? I know it's kind of weird, but you know, because when you worked together in a relationship like with musicians and kind of survived that whole rigor, then getting married is like you've had to deal with that kind of the idea of sharing something very personal, you know, with someone. Obviously, it's very different. Very different.
Or you know, you just have 3 husbands.
Yeah.
Hi, honey, we're married, and these are your other 2 husbands on the side.
It's getting really weird. But no, I honestly.
There's a lot of joking going in there, but I mean, the truth is that, you know, the band, unfortunately, is such a huge part of our personal and business lives that there is a degree to which our wives are very accepting of the crazy hours and the level of devotion that we've already had, and
we're lucky that they enjoy the music and that they're happy to let us, you know, spend hours late into the night, you know, making it.
Cool. So I know that you travel a lot with your wives. What was it like working with the children's choir on this new album for the song "The Great Divide"?
It was very cool, and it was kind of it was one of those things that we both had a lot of expectations for what we were going to, you know, experience and hopefully get from going to Africa, but it was also one of those things where we had no expectations. It was like, man, I really hope that we come up with something great, but if we don't, the fact that we're going to Africa is not just to, you know, record, but also to do our best as you know, aspiring humanitarians, to get ourselves into what is going on in Africa as a whole, because Africa is so ravaged by AIDS and HIV and other very basic things such as clean water and absolute poverty.
Also, I just wanted to say, it's really interesting. I was talking with somebody yesterday, and not to go too deep too fast, but you know, there's a real sense, I think, especially from a generation, whenever they see, you know, there's been a lot of celebrity talking about AIDS in Africa, and we have a tendency when we see our little moment and sort of see everything as a fad, like, well, they did that last season, you know, I saw Brad Pitt and they did that marketing campaign for that thing, but the issue with, first of all, we don't want to just be doing this celebrity promotion of what's going on with AIDS. It's like, this is something that's been happening and building for a long time.
20 years, really.
And it really is something that is tragedy and something that is so necessary for everybody to be invested in. And if it's not AIDS, for our kids it'll be something else.
Yeah.
If it's not the poverty that's keeping these people from being able to get on their feet and face their own problems, it'll be something else. And I think for us, we had a real personal connection realizing that we're from kind of the Midwest, and there's been a lot of activity from organizations in the middle of the country, but I think the general consensus of everybody, especially in that part of the country, is not that idea that they really do have a role or that it really connects with them, and that we want it to be an example to begin to say, well, we have a few tools we can use. What is it that we can do? And maybe we can start to set a trend of saying, you know what, we're guys in our early 20s. We're a generation that needs something to believe in, something that can unify people. And, you know, so let's begin to just try and do our own part and set an example, and maybe along the way, people that look to you or admire you or whatever will say, well, what do I have that I can use? What do I have that I can choose to make a difference with? Because that's all you can ever ask anybody to do.
Well, you were asking specifically, sorry, we kind of got off of that. You were asking specifically about music, and the musical impact for wow, that was kind of cut out. The musical impact, I think, on the record was huge. There was Great Divide, that had been there before, yeah. and there was the song Blue Sky, which are all on the record. And the impact of those songs and those performances by the choir was very, very cool, because they were singing things like I Have Hope in Zulu, and the song lyric says, I find hope and it gives me rest, I find hope in a beating chest. You know, and it's just to have the multilingual thing going on, and for these kids who are in a bad situation, for it to connect across the world and to be saying, we can conquer this great divide, we can conquer the divide between America and Africa, we can conquer the divide between those who have AIDS and those who do not have AIDS, we can conquer the divide between those who do not have enough money to, you know, survive and to buy milk and buy basic things, and those who do. And so, you know, it's a very cool opportunity for us, and we feel really lucky that we're able to do it.
That's great. You guys are setting such a great example for all of your fans out there. I'm only going to cut us off because we are heading off to Brantford for the Masters Tea, so we're going to continue this conversation there. It was so great to have you here and chat with you.
Thanks so much.
And I'm sure you won't disappoint your fans tonight. We're excited to hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.